So it's going to be a slow flow, focusing on very soft back bends, and you have permission to take these as deep as you'd like today. So back bends are often a love or a hate, and it can be very different on different days. So please just stay in tune with your body. Sometimes it's not even just physical, it's the emotional side of heart openers. So just stay in tune with your body and honour it, honour what it needs, and we'll get started. So we're going to begin lying on our backs. So come and find a nice comfortable position, lying on the spine. And if you would like here, if you have a bolster, you might want to begin in a heart opener by placing the bolster underneath the back lengthways, or if you have a couple of blocks, again we can position them underneath the lower shoulder blades. I don't have my blocks with me today, so I can't show you. But underneath the shoulder blades, and then one at the head, either on the lowest height, medium height, or you might want to have the head a little bit higher on the highest height. So just come and choose a position that feels comfortable for you, or just lie on your back, straight on your back. And we can have the soles of the feet together with the knees falling out, if that feels comfortable. And then let's just go ahead and place one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart. Letting the elbows soften down. Letting the eyes close. And finding some softness with our breath here. Giving ourselves full permission to settle. Almost imagining you are a pebble just sinking down deeper and deeper into the bottom of a lake and settling on the earth below as the ripples grow smaller and smaller. And it's been said that the longest journey that we'll ever have to make is from the head down into the heart. So just take a moment here to reflect on how it feels when you're living from the head, purely from the head, purely from logic. Purely from the mind, maybe overthinking, constantly planning for the future, or ruminating on the past. Energetically, how does it feel when you are in your head? And for me, the word stuck comes up. It feels like sometimes I'm so stuck in my head that I can't see anything else that's around me. And then bringing the attention to the heart space. And how does it feel when we're living from our hearts, even just for a moment? For a brief period of time when the heart is open, when we're making decisions from this place, when we are truly in tune with our hearts, with our true selves. And as we focus on this space here, as we begin to inhale, imagine a colour in the heart space, a colour that feels like peace for you. So this could be blue or green, pink. And as we breathe in, this colour expands, grows bigger, fills the heart space. And as we breathe out, Just imagine the edges of the colour that you've imagined just softening and again expanding, just like watercolour dripping into the other spaces in the body, maybe the belly, the throat, maybe even into the limbs, the arms, the legs. So as we breathe in, this colour of peace grows brighter and stronger and expands. And as we breathe out, it softens and it melts and it merges with the rest of the body. And staying with this breath for another 3 big deep breaths. And if you still have the hand on the heart, maybe you feel the beating of the heart underneath the hand. A reminder that you are alive, that you are here. And maybe if for nothing else, we bring gratitude just for that. Let's take one final breath, breathing in, letting this colour grow brighter, grow stronger. And maybe we breathe out this time through the mouth, letting the colour spread into all the areas of the body, up to the crown of the head, down to the fingertips and the toes. And then releasing the hands. If we have blocks or bolsters underneath, just gently remove them to the side. And gently pulling the knees up towards the sky, in towards the chest, and just giving yourself a rock from side to side. Giving yourself a big squeeze here. An act of self-love, of compassion, and saying that I'm listening, that I'm here. And then planting the feet down on the ground, knees face up towards the ceiling, feet are hip width apart. Taking it into some gentle bridges here, so planting into all 4 corners of the feet. As we start to rise through the tailbone, lift the hips. An option to reach the arms up and overhead. Closing the throat, chin towards the chest. And as we exhale, we're peeling the spine back down and the arms come to find their way down by the side of the body. Moving with our breath, breath in as we rise, press the shoulder blades in, reach back. And gently lower as if we are peeling a sticker down onto the ground with the spine. Breath in to lift the hips. Gentle activation of the glutes, of the hamstrings. And as we breathe out, peeling that sticker back down. I'm going to go one more time, breathing in to lift. And then this time, maybe it feels nice to just have the arms hanging overhead, or maybe we want to take them back down beside the body, sneaking the shoulders underneath the body, clasping the hands and pointing the knuckles towards the ankles, lifting through the hips. And breathing into that openness in the chest here. Noticing that slight closing down of the throat. And we'll stay for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the clasp of the hands, peel the chest down, and just gently swish and sway the knees from side to side. Good. Clasping the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself some gentle rocks up and down the spine. And we'll find our way into tabletop, so crossing the ankles, coming forward and finding our way onto the hands and knees, feeling free to place a blanket underneath the knees if you know that the knees are tender. Just placing the tops of the feet against the mat and just giving them a little bit of a tap. Spreading the fingers out nice and wide, shoulders above the wrists. Nice neutral spine. And then taking an inhale as we lift the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. And exhale, tucking the tailbone round in through the spine and gaze in between the knees. Now movement ripples from the lower back, so tailbone, heart, and gaze lifts. And as we breathe out, we tuck the tailbone, shoulder blades spread, and the gaze comes last. Breath in to open, and breath out to round, pressing the earth away. Breath in, and breath out. Using the full length of the breath here, not rushing the breath. Breathing in. And breathing out. Last breath in. And smooth breath out. Going back to our neutral spine, keeping the hips high above the knees and just walking the hands forward into our puppy pose here. So to make it a softer puppy pose, we can just have a diamond in the arms and the fingers touching together. And we can just melt down the head onto a block or a cushion. And if we want a little bit of a stronger stretch, we can straighten through the arms. The wrists are parallel with the shoulders, or in line with the shoulders, I should say, as we melt down the heart and either placing the forehead or the chin towards the floor as we spread across the chest and we melt the heart down towards the ground. And we'll stay here for 3 more full breaths. And if you notice that the breath has become short or sharp, then just see if we can have a little bit of a wiggle around to move into a posture where our prana or our breath or our life force can flow more freely. And maybe the more we breathe, the more we allow ourselves to soften in. We tell ourselves that we are safe to surrender and to let go. Maybe the muscles follow suit. And let us in just a little bit more. On our next breath in, coming forward onto the forearms, dropping the hips. Finding our way into our Sphinx pose. Fingertips face forward. And the forearms are parallel like train tracks. And finding all 10 toes onto the ground as we press through the heart. And then take a gaze over the left. Breath in back to center. And breath out over to the right. Breath in back to center. Last time, breath out to the left. Into center. And out to the right. And in back to center. Good, softening down through the belly, through the chest. And taking the hands, so they're about max width apart, just behind the shoulders. And we can either have flat palms here, or we can dome the fingertips in, elbows face up towards the ceiling. And as we breathe in, either low cobra, or maybe we straighten the arms a little bit more into high cobra. And as we breathe out, softening down. So bringing back to mind that colour that we had at the beginning, taking a breath in, as we breathe that colour in towards the heart space, allowing the heart to open on our inhale, and as we breathe out, letting it spread and melt all the way to the tips of the toes, through the arms, through the fingertips, and in towards the ground. Breath in. And breath out, let it melt away into the ground, connecting us with the earth. Breathing in, opening the heart. And breathing out to soften down. And then just releasing the hands to the sides of the body, taking the right ear to the floor, bending the knees and swishing and swaying the legs from side to side. Releasing the legs, taking the hands back down by the sides of the chest, pressing into our cobra, either low or high. And we'll find our way back to tabletop. Taking the knees nice and wide, big toes touch, and taking the bum towards the heels into our child's pose, just taking a rock from side to side. Taking an inhale to come forward into tabletop, knees back under the hips, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, and bringing ourselves into our first downward facing dog. We're not going to do many today at all, so just enjoy the sensations of this down dog, maybe pedaling the knees, having a shake or a nod of the head, releasing tension from the neck. And then pressing the heart back towards the thighs, activating down through the heels, and rolling out through the shoulders, spreading the fingers nice and wide. As we inhale, lifting the right leg up towards the sky, keeping the hips square. And as we exhale, step in that right foot in between the hands, dropping the back knee either down to the ground or in a blanket. And you can choose to either have the toes tucked or untucked as we spin the arms all the way to the sky and take an inhale. Exhale to cactus the arms. Inhale to reach out wide, open through the heart. And then exhale, we'll close it back up, wrapping the arms around the self, tucking the chin in towards the chest. Taking an inhale to reach out, opening up through the shoulders, the chest. And exhale, other arm wraps on top, chin towards the chest. Give yourself that squeeze. 2 more times, breath in to open. And breath out to close. Last breath in, feel the expanse, feel the openness. And breath out as we close. Unravel, take a breath in to reach through the fingertips up towards the sky. And breath out to frame the front foot. Step back to plank. And then we can either drop the knees here or come forward on the toes as we lower down onto the belly and the chest. And we'll take that flowing cobra once again. Untucking the toes, taking the hands out nice and wide as we breathe in to present the heart. Spread through the collarbones and breathe out to let it melt down. Breath in to rise, to lift. And breath out, melt it down. Last one, breath in. And breath out. And then sending the fingertips back. Pointing the fingertips towards the feet. We're taking the neck out nice and long here, so no looking side to side or forward and back, just nice neutral neck. And without using the hands, we'll take a breath in, keeping all 10 toes on the floor. Breath in to lift the chest, wrap the shoulders back, and breath out to lower. So squeezing the glutes here, breath in to lift. And out. Inhale, rise. And exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, rise, all 10 toes towards the ground. Send the fingertips back and we'll hold here for a count of 3. Keep breathing, feeling the breath, fill the belly for 2. And 1. Let it release, placing the left ear on the ground, bending the legs and swishing and swaying from side to side. Releasing the legs, taking the left arm out parallel and the palm down. As we roll onto the left hip, the right toes or flat foot finds the ground. As we just let that chest open, let the right hip open, placing the left ear on the ground, and we might even want to drape the right hand behind the back to help with that opening a little bit more. Next breath in, rolling back onto the belly. And breath out as we extend through the right arm, palm down, right ear to the floor. And we're rolling onto that right hip here. And maybe we drape the left arm behind the back. And maybe in these slower moments, we take a pause to notice how we're talking to ourselves when we're on our mats, as this can often be a big indicator of how we talk to ourselves off our yoga mats. So it's a really beautiful way of self-exploration with our thoughts, with our actions, and with noticing our attitudes and our perspectives. Rolling back onto the belly. And again, just reminding ourselves to drop from the head to the heart. Taking a breath into cobra. And a breath out to our downward facing dog. So just reminding ourselves to let go of analysing, of judging, of comparing, maybe of criticising. And when we're in our heart space, we're in this place of peace. We're in this place of compassion for both ourselves and for others. And when we drop in often enough and deep enough, we can often find this place of stillness. So just see if we can access that even just for a moment. And then when we're ready, that left leg sweeps up towards the ceiling, breath in. And breath out, the left foot comes in between the hands. And as we breathe in, fingertips sweep towards the ceiling. And breath out, cactus the arms, pull the shoulder blades together at the back. Breath in to open through the arms, open through the heart as if we're inviting anything that we want in. And as we exhale, we're closing, we're giving ourselves that self-hug and closing the throat, chin towards the chest. Breath in to open, to expand, finding this balance between the inviting in, the openness, the expanse, and the exhale, the softening, the closing, the the conservation of our energy. Breath in to open to offer, and breath out to bring it all back to ourselves, the place where it matters the most. Breathing in that last time we open, sweeping the fingertips up towards the sky, and breath out to frame the front foot, stepping back to plank. Either come into the knees or come forward on the toes, and again slow lower down into the belly and the chest. We know where we're going, untucking the toes, wide cobra as we take an inhale to peel the chest up. Exhale to melt it down. Breath in to rise, and breath out to lower. Staying in that heart space, breath in to rise, and breath out to lower. Good, and then this time, sending the fingertips back. We can either keep the toes on the floor, or we can lift the legs as well. As we breathe in, lift the shoulders, the chest, the legs. Zipping the inner feet together, and breathe out to lower. So we're recruiting muscles in the glutes and the hamstrings here as we breathe in to rise, to help support with our heart openers. And as we breathe out to lower. Breathe in, wrap the shoulders back, keep the neck long. And breathe out to lower. And we can go as far as we want with this final breath. Keep breathing here as we hold. We can always come down sooner than I say. This is your practice. And we're going to stay for 3, 2, and 1. Resting one ear on the floor, bending the knees and taking a swish and a sway from side to side. Letting the legs go, pressing the hands by the sides of the belly. Take a breath into cobra. And breath out to child's pose, widening the knees, touching the big toes together. Coming forward into our tabletop. And exhale to downward facing dog. Walking the feet up to meet the hands. Taking a breath into our halfway lift, pulling the chest forward, the hips back. And breath out to soften down. In to our halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And out, let the belly drip down the thighs, let the head hang heavy. Last breath in. And breath out. Pressing through all 4 corners of the feet as we slowly rise through the spine. We'll take a big breath in at the top, reaching through the fingertips. And as we breathe out, placing the hands on the lower back, wrapping the elbows back. And rather than, for this next one, thinking of it like a back bend, think of it more as if we're opening through the back of the heart. So sometimes when we think back bend, we automatically just use our lumbar region to bend from, and actually we want to use more of the thoracic, so this sort of mid to upper spine. So placing the hands on the back, shoulders wrap back, and imagining opening up through the back of the heart. So keeping the lower back stable and steady. And just notice how this feels energetically. It might feel a bit uncomfortable. Notice where your body says, there, that's where I want to stop. And if you feel like you have some more in you, some more space that you'd like to open into, maybe we drop the hands down the sides or the backs of the legs as we continue to open through the back of the heart. And if the neck feels comfortable, maybe we drop the head back. So this can be as soft or as intense as we'd like. Where has our breath gone? Can we still feel it flowing freely? And when we're ready to come up, make sure the head comes last as we support ourselves, pulling through the shoulders, and the head comes last. And just placing one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, as we breathe into these spaces. And then when we're ready, pulling the feet just wider than hips distance, and just giving ourselves a shake from side to side, and a bend in the knees as we come all the way down. Sinking low down into the feet, and then finding our way into Janusasana, taking the left leg straight forward, the right sole of the foot in towards the left inner thigh. And we're going to flex that left foot. We'll take an inhale here to reach through the hands, and an exhale as we soften the heart forward. Breath in to reach. And breath out, plant the right hand just behind the right glute. And as we breathe in, either just lifting the left fingertips up, or we can lift the hips, come onto that right knee, point the left toes and expand through the chest. And breath out to lower. We'll flow through this with our breath. Breath in to lift. Breath out, Janusasana. No sharp edges here, breathing in. And breathing out, right hand down, left arm lifts. Beautiful, sinking the hips down, breathing in, last time to reach. And exhale to soften. Inhale to reach. Exhale, plant the right hand. Make sure the wrist is just under the shoulder as we lift the hips, if that's the option that we're choosing. Drape the left arm over the ear and just hold in here, feeling this nice open heart. And our half wild thing, just a softer version of wild thing. Three, 2, and 1, sweeping it back down. And just taking a little twist towards the right, so taking the right fingertips to behind the back, left hand to the right knee, and gazing over the right shoulder. Coming back to center, and let's take a switch of those legs. So the right leg is forward this time. We're going to have a little bit of a bend in the knee, if that feels better. Left sole of the foot against the inner thigh. And we might even want to find the sit bones here, so just move some things out of the way so we can find our sit bones as we take a breath in to reach, and a breath out to soften over this right leg. Breath in, and breath out, plant the left hand, come onto that left knee, maybe lift the hips, reaching over with the right. Sinking the hips down, breath in to reach. Stay in that heart space, breath out. That place of stillness, of peace. Breath in to reach. And breath out, left hand plants. Inhale to reach. Notice if you're thinking about what you're going to have for dinner, or the things that you've got to do today. And again, just try and physically focus on this space inside of us. Maybe we bring back the colour, inhale to reach as a point of reference, exhale to soften. Inhale to reach, exhale to plant the left hand down, up through the hips if that's what we're choosing, and then just stay in here, finding that soft expanse as we keep the breath nice and smooth. for 3, 2, and 1. Bringing the hips down. And taking that soft twist towards the left, nearly forgot about that one. Right hand to the left knee and twisting over to the left hand side. So spreading through the collarbones here, through the chest, everything staying nice and open. And again, just notice what happens in these quieter moments, these slower moments. Notice where the mind goes. We never want to judge ourselves for where our mind goes. So if you are thinking about dinner, if you are thinking about everything you've got to do, that's okay, we're human. We just want to gently bring it back time and time again to the true reason that we are on our mat practicing, and that is to connect with ourselves. Bringing the knees back to center, and we'll take a slow roll down, and then just take the legs softly up towards the ceiling, pin the inner feet together, and giving ourselves a circle. Feeling the massage of the lumbar spine and the press down of the lumbar curve, that little curve in the lower back. Taking the circles the opposite direction. Bending the knees and taking switching this way from side to side. And then we'll take the knees over towards the left, either cactus in the right arm or extending it out nice and long as we gaze over the right shoulder. And as we inhale, bringing the knees back to center. And as we exhale, letting the knees fall towards the right and gazing over the left. Beautiful, last time, bringing the knees back to center. And taking whatever else you need before coming into a brief Shavasana. And just letting the legs extend, palms towards the sky. And let yourself spread out here, so let yourself take up space. As the eyes close or the gaze softens. And we once again bring our attention back to our heart space. Noticing how it feels physically, emotionally, energetically in this short amount of time. And sometimes all we need is a brief moment to check in, to let our hearts know that we haven't forgotten about them, that we are listening. And just like a child needs nourishment, needs nurturing, needs to know that they are heard and seen and loved, so do our hearts. So maybe you take a commitment here to make this a daily practice. You don't always have to do a full asana session, it could just be a 1-minute check-in, a breathing practice like the colour that we used. It could even be a mantra, so I often use I love you and I am listening. Making this commitment and this intention to nourish ourselves and nurture ourselves as we would a young child. And then I invite you to start to rub the palms of the hands together, creating some heat between the hands, creating some energy. And placing the hands on the heart space, just sealing that warmth in towards the heart. Feeling your own magic beneath your hands. And knowing that you have absolutely everything that you need inside of yourself. And you never ever have to look anywhere else. It's all here. Taking a final breath in. And a smooth, long breath out. And hugging the knees in towards the chest. And taking a tumble over to the left. Allowing yourself a pause here for gratitude for showing up to your practice today. It's not always easy to find or to carve out that space and that time. And then let's bring ourselves up to center. Maybe the eyes stay closed as we find our seat. And taking a big breath in here as we sweep the arms towards the sky. And as we breathe out through the mouth, the hands come together. And we pause between the eyebrows to remind ourselves of the power of our mind and of our thoughts. We pause at the throat space to remind ourselves of the power of our words and our voice and our truth. And finally, we pause at the heart space to remind ourselves of the power that is within our hearts and the power of the love that's within us and the love that is all around us. Final breath in through the nose, into the heart. Final breath out through the mouth, let it go. And with the deepest sense of gratitude, I bow my head to you. Namaste.